It's 9 o'clock. I'll call the meeting to order of the Leavenworth Board of County Commissioners. I'd like to invite everyone to stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We'll have a moment of silence, please. All right, on our roll call, all three commissioners are present today for our January 8th, 2019 meeting. We'll open up the portion of public comment. Anyone from the public wishing to speak, please come forward to the podium. State your name. Seeing none, we'll close public comment and move on to administrative business. Mr. Lawfrey, we
have two items under administrative business today. One is the dues for the Kansas Association of Counties, and the other one is the Kansas County Commissioners Association dues. In the past, we have there's been discussion on these items, so I wanted to bring them forward for your discussion today. Usually, the Kansas Association of Counties we maintain membership in. I believe last year there was a vote to not be a part of the Kansas County Commissioners Association. So I just wanted to give the board a chance to approve those two bills or to reject them.
Well, the Kansas Association of Counties is a very important organization. I mean, that's our only voice, you know, to get to the legislatures, really. And I don't recall what the issues were last year about the Kansas County Commissioners Association.
I think the debate was that when you look at the website, it takes you right to the Kansas Association of Counties website, so there was a debate on whether or not we actually received anything on top of what our Kansas Association of Counties membership got us. So that was the discussion.
Okay.
I think previous to that, we had always been a member of both. I think last year we chose to only be a member of the Kansas Association of Counties. The membership fees for the Kansas Association of Counties is $15,078.79. Membership to the Kansas County Commissioners Association is $995.
Have any thoughts, Commissioner?
I'm trying to think back on why we would have had to, and I think part of it was the cost of it, and what Mark said, that we were kind of basically getting the same thing, and we were paying $15,000 for.
Well, the $15,000 is for the Kansas Association of Counties. The $995 would be the county commissioners.
So I think I'll leave it up to you two because you're going to be here and I'm not. But I don't see any reason to be involved in two when you could have when we're paying so much for Kansas Association of Counties. But that's just my.
Okay. Mr. Cos? I know you're not familiar with any of these organizations,
No,
and you will be after you go to the orientation program in Topeka. Does staff have a recommendation on this, or Mr. Van Paris?
Mr. Chairman, members of the Commission, it is purely a policy decision on your part as to whether you pay the dues for the Kansas County Commissioners Association. I would like to state, however, that's a rather recent creation. I think it was in reaction to the fact that there's a Treasurers Association, a Clerks Association, law enforcement, and I think at some point perhaps somebody felt they should have their own organization too. I'm not aware of them conducting any meetings outside of KAC or organizational meetings or any function whatsoever.
Okay.
Then I would say that we probably ought to just stick with the...
Okay, well, we can stay with the KAC, and then we can do some more investigating on that.
Why don't we do
at a
that?
later
Look
date.
into
Let's
that.
table that one, and I'll entertain a motion for the, to pay the dues for the Kansas Association of Counties.
Go ahead.
Motion to pay the dues for the Kansas Association of Counties.
Second.
Any, got a motion and a second? Any further discussion? Voting?
Aye.
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 You have anything else?
Those were the only two administrative items we had today.
Okay. Has commissioners had a chance to look over the consent agenda?
I have, yes.
Any problems? And I'll entertain a motion for the consent
Make a
agenda.
motion to approve the consent agenda as stated.
Second?
A motion and a second. Any further discussion on this? Voting?
Aye.
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 All right, we're good on that. Okay. So we're ready for Public Works?
Last week, we had discussion on the PRP program. Mr. Luchin had provided us with a couple of RBAs for review, but they were not ready for a proposal yet. But since we had discussed it last week, and I said we would have some information this week, I wanted to have Mr.
We can
Luchin
always talk about roads.
wanted to have him come up and give you an update.
Everybody's got one, you know.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning, David.
So on the PRP program, I believe it was late October, early November, the board gave Public Works direction to complete the right-of-way acquisition on the remaining PRP projects by the end of 2018. So on those projects, the McPherson, 119th and Kelly, all of those have been obtained. The 219th Street, all of those easements have been obtained. On Donahue Road, we obtained 14 of 15, and on 187th Street, we obtained 9 of 11. So those two projects were not able to get 100% participation on.
The Donahue Road from 155th to 167th, though, right?
Yeah, that mile and a half was completed earlier in 2018.
And
the
then
acquisition portion of it.
And then from 167th to 175th,
Yeah,
is that where you're short?
correct. We got 14 out of 15 of those properties.
And is it the same property, two different owners, or it's got two owners?
Yeah, there's two owners on that property.
So there's a chance that that might still come in before we bring it to the board for their approval.
Not that the last message I received from one of the owners, I received it on December 31st, was that they would not be signing.
Okay. Okay. But part of the road's done. So.
Yes, a mile and a half we have obtained all these.
Okay, so deficiency reviews will be started on these latest ones?
Yes, those will be turned over to the consultant to start the dust abatement process.
Okay. So when are we looking for going out for bid on any of these roads?
In the next week or two, hopefully next week, I'll be coming to the board with to receive approval to move forward with putting some out to bid.
Okay. So you'll have the roads and then have another phase or group we call them phases or groups now?
I changed it to group because we were getting a lot of confusion from people that thought because it said phase, it had to be constructed in those orders. So people were upset that, well, I'm way down here in phase 5. The grouping has, the grouping has nothing to do with construction order. It was just grouped that way because of where the roads are located in relation to each other. It has, we could construct group 5 before we construct group 1. It has, the order has no bearing whatsoever.
Okay. Commissioners have any questions? Mr. Lujan?
Were there any,
Well, I do have, people that have declined to sign off on this, is there any particular reason, I mean, that we could work out with them, or?
A lot of them I haven't even contacted. Some of them haven't even contacted us, so I have no idea what their reasoning is as to why.
I didn't know if sometimes they have to, they either have to take the fence out and then put it back themselves. A lot of people are elderly and then can't do it or don't want to do it.
Well, for what we're doing right now, it was basically paving in place.
Right.
No fencing relocation would be required, so that's
anybody
why
who
contacts us, we explain that too, that at this time it doesn't have to be moved, but I can't tell you in the future that it may not have to be moved.
Yes, sir, you can come forward.
Harold Sommerfeld, 19720 Stranger Road, Leavenworth, Kansas. So I have some input on that because I've been trying to get our road under the PRP program for over 3 years. And we have one gentleman who inherited the property. He's 70 years old, he's an attorney in Kansas City, and he doesn't want to move an old hedge fence, which is run down to begin with, but that's his reason to not want to move it. The other one is, there's not real clear guidance on what the actual right-of-way from the center of the road is. There's some confusion there. At least there's some confusion with my neighbors. Because some of them are like, wait a minute, the right-of-way is 30 feet from the center line. No, it's 30 feet from the center line. No, it's 60 feet from the center line. So there's no clear guidance on what it is. Also, there's some concern with the current PRP program. At least maybe I'm not as educated on the current process, because I was informed that our road, which was on the PRP list, but because we didn't have 100% of the people, one is an out-of-state resident who lives at the end of the road, and it's just agricultural, and the other one, like I described, is a gentleman who owns, him and his brother together own a half a mile, which is right on the other side, so that's a considerable chunk. So we're not on the PRP program because I was told, well, we're not doing the PRP anymore, we're now doing the dust abatement where they can chip seal in place. So I don't know if that affects the right-of-way distance, and where do I go to get clear guidance on that so that I can help educate the people that live on our road? Because we would still like to have it done, and I understand the options that we could pay the $500, have them come out once a year and do the dust abatement in front of our property, or we could pay the per foot price. I think that's the current way. I mean, is the county still doing, or is there a way to do PRP where it's not?
We were honoring the PRP roads that were on the list that we're trying to get signatures. And we are doing paving in place on them, so we're not taking the fences.
Right.
So we're not moving the road. But yes, we were asking for additional right-of-way, but we're not going to use it at this time.
Right. See, so, and that's kind of the confusion, because we were told, you know, we didn't have all of the signatures for the 1.5 miles, but we had all but one for like 3/4 of the mile, and since it's going to continue a projected project from like 195th Street, so it'd be that extra 3/4 of a mile, we were told, no, you didn't have all the signatures there because you were missing the one, so we're taking you off the list. So when I came to the meeting today and I found out, hey, there's still people on the list that don't have 100%, I just assumed that all of the people that didn't have 100% of people signing the right-of-way were taken off the list. I mean, I'm just looking for a way that I can help encourage the gentleman from across the road who, one, doesn't have any housing there, and it's just used for hay, and I'm just looking for options. I guess I'm not
I think
giving
that
up
there might
on
be
this
some
yet.
confusion because there's 2 phases where you require signatures on the old PRP program, which no longer exists. The first phase was you basically just get the people to sign and say, hey, we'll agree to give the right-of-way, but it wasn't the
Right.
actual right-of-way
Yep.
release.
Had that done.
Then when we come back, and that has to be 100%. Then when you get that, then the next phase is getting the actual right-of-way, which also has to be 100%.
Sure.
If you weren't at that spot where you had already started getting the signatures, then we did not accept any more programs, any more people into the old program.
We were already at phase.
So the PRP program no longer exists. If no more miles are being accepted for application, anybody won't allow to move forward either. We do have a new dust abatement program, which you explained. You have the opportunity to put down a chemical application, or you can pay for the chip seal process in front of your property as well. Those 2. And with that, we offer the ability to put that on your taxes for a 5-year period.
Sure. No, and I understand it, because I did phase 1, had all the signatures, so that went forward. The problem is, the property owner that lived and owned that whole half-mile section, she passed away, and the land was then given to her 2 sons. One has a house there, the other one doesn't. So then, when they sent out the actual, no kidding, hey, folks, you need to sign this real right-of-way, I placed over 70 calls to this gentleman who never returned my call one time. So, I mean, and then we were informed, hey, you don't have 100%, you're off the list. That's why I was kind of surprised when I had heard, because I know those roads that you're talking about, they didn't have 100% signed either, and they're still on the list. So I was a little
They had
a little
100%
concerned.
letter of intent to sign.
Yeah, all of our neighbors got the letter of intent, and they
But-
signed that. That was phase 1. Phase 2 was the city actually, or the county actually sent out the letter that said, you have until, I believe it was like March 18th or May 18th of last year to sign it. And I had worked with David's office, and there was a lady there that I had talked to who said, yeah, there's some changes to the program. Unfortunately, because I said, hey, can we do the 3/4 of a mile? And she said, but you don't have the one signature from the guy, so we're taking you off the list. So that's why I was kind of confused when I heard
No, but
there's
these
still
other
people on the
roads,
list.
these other roads had 100% letter of intent.
So did ours.
You just said you didn't
No,
have
at
one.
at the time that the initial, okay, this has been going on for 3 years at
We
the
had
initial
never
time.
attempted- This was our first attempt at acquiring these easements. That's why they were still on the list. We hadn't even gotten
Oh,
to
okay,
that
okay,
yet.
so they hadn't gone through, ours did, and it wasn't successful, so it was
Right.
taken off. These went through. Kind of confusing, I got it, I'm just trying to get some, dust abatement for, like I said, for the majority of the houses that are on that road, so. All right, thank you.
All right, thank you. So anything else on this?
Unless
Will
you
you be bringing us back something to,
I still want to.
Yeah, hopefully, next week, hopefully.
what's that?
I still want a work session.
Okay, well, you said you're coming back next week or the week after?
I don't know if we can get it on, I don't know.
Next
I don't
week is
know what's
our-
on your agenda for next week.
Next week is the sign die
You're right, sign
changeover. So we try not to load that up too much, but if the board would like, we can certainly
No,
have it on there for the second.
Commissioner
portion.
Cause would like a work session on some of this, but,
And just typically, we don't put a lot on there because after we do the sign die, the new board comes on, then we have a little reception.
yeah,
If you would like to
No, let's
postpone the
keep it light.
reception and do the,
let's keep it light, we're good.
okay. all right.
Before all of that, I just really would like to have
Okay.
a work session. so
We have right, as of now, we have a meeting scheduled for the 22nd, would be an evening meeting. We could do the work session then, if you'd like, which could go later, or we could wait until the 29th. And bring the PRP and everything on that day, if you'd like.
I don't have a problem having a work session.
I don't have a problem having.
We could
it
have a
on
work
any day.
session on a
Any day.
Wednesday or
Yep.
Thursday or
Okay.
something.
I agree.
you know.
That's fine
We
too.
can schedule it on any day.
Best we better check with Commissioner-elect back there. Would you be available for a work session other than a Tuesday?
I don't have a problem with it.
Bob supports it. Okay.
He wants you to come in.
Yeah, I
in
want
the
you to come
evening.
in that night.
Be here
Well,
for
I
3
think
or 4 hours.
I think the work session should be,
Okay.
other than a regular
I
meeting.
agree.
Well, we could then maybe schedule a work session for next week, Wednesday. Is that
Yeah, I
what-
can check my calendar. but
Well,
yeah, let me know.
we have, there may be conflicts there, just trying to get to our, Wednesday works.
It's your call.
If you have a,
We have training Thursday and Friday, but there's just things that I was going to try to get taken care of before that, but that's okay. Wednesday works.
Wednesday will work, we can schedule next Wednesday to have a work session on the dust abatement
Okay.
program.
All right, sounds good.
All right. Thank you, David. Okay. Commissioners, are any of you going to the Alliance meet and greet today
Yes.
at the depot?
I plan to.
I do too. I will be there. Have you seen that? Did you get invited to that? I think things are going well right now, so they're back and running.
Have the executive director hired? so-
Yep.
Yes.
Anyways, any other business for the board?
Nothing from staff.
Commissioner Holland?
Nothing for me.
Commissioner Cos?
No.
All right, no motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
Voting. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.